it really was, I had to kind of treat myself as a beloved collaborator, you know, and just say, you know, write the lyric first, and then once I had like a strong draft of the lyric, then kind of give it over to myself as a composer, and then just let me interpret, you know, find the music that way. I can't think of one song that I actually started with like, oh, the music's going to be this as I'm writing the lyric.
So this goes to one of those eternal questions for those of us who don't do what you do, which is which comes first, the words or the music? And in your case, the words come first, even though you are first and foremost a composer.
Right.
I mean,
I do more composing in musical theater than I do writing lyrics. Like most of my collaborations are where I'm just doing the music, and when I say just, I don't mean that, because it's, you know, that's an equal measure of effort. But yeah, I'm really inspired by text. So that is the reason why my writing process for this was starting with a lyric and really figuring out the story. Because for me as a composer, I need to kind of understand the whole story before I dig in with the music.
Because what we know as an audience is that eventually all of these people become institutionalized at this major state institution. And we know that all of these suitcases were discovered having been essentially taken from people who checked in and then maybe never checked out, or if they did, certainly didn't take any of their belongings with them, which gives the whole thing a kind of, I mean, it's got such an interesting bookend, but it's also fascinating to me because it does span the 20th century. So the suitcases kind of come from anywhere from the 19-teens until, I think, at least in our production, and this is not true of the suitcases per se, but up until the mid-1960s.
Right. And you were talking about, you know, people didn't leave, and, you know, when the asylum started in the late 1860s, it was called the Willard Asylum for the Chronically Insane. And so, you know, people that went there, there was really not the possibility of them leaving.
Right.
Now, some people did leave, but for the most part, the majority of the people, that was the sentence, you know, for them, is they end up there and not leave.
It's interesting because, and it really ties directly into some of the roots of this community, because the Western State Asylum was to this area and this region and this state very much what the Willard Asylum was in upstate New York. It was a major hospital, a major center for study, a major employer. I mean, you know, it's been fascinating to me just talking about this musical with people in the community. There's almost never someone that I talk to who doesn't have at least one relative or that they themselves worked at Western State at some point. Like it's that much a part of the sort of history of this place. But it is interesting because one of the things I've learned working on the piece is just, it gives a sort of perspective on our history of treating mental health issues as a society.